Hello, Bots and Books fans, this is Sculpt1701, and tonight I'm very excited to bring to you the DC Multiverse Knightfall Batman. This is a brand new figure slowly making its ways to the shelf, and you will be lucky if you find this thing because this is a very hot seller at the moment, because this is a Batman that we've wanted from the DC Multiverse for a very, very long time. Is it the definitive Batman? I don't know. We'll take a look. We'll see. But first off, let's take a look at the packaging. And as you can see, he is in your standard DC Multiverse box. You have 12 plus here. You have the figure in there. You have DC Multiverse Batman. At the top of the box, you just have 22 moving parts. Points articulation, motos de articulation. You have McFarlane toys. On this side of the box, you have DC Multiverse, you have Batman, you have an ad for DC Universe Infinite, so you can scan that little code and, go read some comic books. On this side of the box, you have DC Multiverse, Batman, Knightfall, McFarlane toys. On the bottom of the box, you just have some credits for the box and a barcode. And finally, coming to the back of the box, you have an awesome picture, and at the top it says McFarlane Toys, Batman Knightfall. You have an awesome picture of Batman 492 right there. 492, 492, it's this one right here, 492, yay. And wow, that's kind of interesting. This came out early May 93. Wow, 30 years ago, a little over 30 years ago. Oh my gosh, this storyline, it just seems like it was yesterday. But anyway, here is your cover, and you have some more credits for the box down here. Another scan code for DCUniverseInfinite.com, and that's pretty much it for the box. But I don't want to see the Dark Knight in the box. I know you don't. So let's get him out and see what he can do. And here we have the Batman out of the box, and he stands approximately 7 inches tall, about 7.5 if you count to the top of his ears. He comes with a trading card, he comes with alternate set of hands, he comes with a batarang, and a figure stand. And we'll take a look at those in just a moment, but first off, I want to take a look at the Dark Knight himself. And coming real close in on the Batman, taking a look at his head sculpt to begin with. I love the head sculpt on this figure. I've always had a partiality to the blues and the gray costume when it comes to Batman. That's how I grew up, watching him on Superpowers and on regular cartoons with Batman. And Adam West usually voiced him on the cartoon. And it wasn't until basically 89 where Michael Keaton came out in the black suit that he changed back to his, I guess, original colors of black and gray, because that's how he was when he originally came out in the 30s. But for the most part, when I read him, he was blue and gray. So I like that we're getting a blue and gray figure. But anyway, taking a look at the head sculpt, I love the ears. They are very long. They come up, and that is always a good sign of a Batman. The cowl is all blue, goes around to the back, and it's actually just a single headpiece on the neck. You can see the front, nice white eyes. I really like that. There is a little bit of molding to give him some cool eyebrows. I like that, coming down to a nice pointy nose. Then his face, which is done in a nice skin tone, coming down to his neck, which is a very large piece, and you got some detail in there. And then you have a cape, which is attached down here to the top of the shoulders. It's nice and rubbery and foamy. Let's zoom out just a little bit so we can see some details in the cape. It's just got a little bit of creases in it, so that's not too bad. I like the points at the bottom there. That is good. Coming to the chest of the figure, he does have his standard gray shirt and a nice molded bat symbol right here. It's very clean, yellow and black. I love it. You can actually see some details in the chest. It actually makes it look like a shirt. Love that. Coming down to the gauntlets and the gloves. They're nice and blue. You got the 3 bat spikes on the end. I like that. very bright utility capsule belt, which is nice. You got the buckle, which is right here in the middle that you can denote, and then you have the little capsules, and it goes all the way around to the back, and you can see that he has some nice blue shorts. I like that. Coming back down to the gray, and then back to the blue for the boots. Very simple motif. I love it. The blue and the grays. That is going to be really hard to beat when you got a Batman figure. And I love the way this guy looks. All right, moving on. And for our articulation, starting at the head can go around 360 degrees. It is on a hinge, so it can look down a little way. He can look up a little way, and you can get some wiggle and waggle in that head. So that is a really cool design for the head. Coming to the shoulders, shoulders can come up from the body. They can go around 360 degrees. There is a bit of a butterfly in there, so they can kind of go back and forth, unless you want to argue that that's not a butterfly and it's a spacer, but either way, that's additional articulation. He does have a bicep swivel, 360 degrees, which is built into a double hinged elbow, which is really good. A lot of good motion there. I like it a lot. But with the double hinged elbow, you do not get a forearm rotation because that's built into the elbow. So that will bring you down to the fist, and the fist can go around 360 degrees. It is built into this ball joint, which is connected to the base of the fist, and that can actually turn around 360 degrees, and that will allow you to move the hand up and down, and if you turn it to the in and out. So that is a really cool new design for this figure. Instead of having the hand plug into the wrist socket, it just connects to the base there, and I'll show that to you when we get to alternate hands. Coming down to the chest, he does have 2 points of articulation. He does have an ab section right here, and that can give him a little bit of wiggly waggly, and you can do 360 degrees of rotation there, so that is pretty neat. And he does have your standard waist articulation right here above the belt, and that will get you around 360 degrees too if you want to go that far and break his back like Bane did, which, hey, this is the Knightfall Batman, so he deserves it, right? But anyway, that also gives you a little bit of wiggly waggly room there, and that is neat. Coming down to the legs, legs can go up just a little bit, back just a little bit, but where you're going to get most of your articulation is to the side, so that is really neat. Now, he does have 360 degrees of articulation around with the thigh, but I warn you, if you do that, then the leg is going to get caught up underneath the shorts here, and then the shorts are going to ride up behind it, and they're going to be sticking out. So do that at your peril, and you may have to try to work that out if you do it. So coming down, knee bend, double articulated. That is really nice. You can get some nice back kicks there. Almost kicked his back. That is cool. Coming down to his foot. Now, the boot cut is not here. It's more of an ankle boot cut. So right here at his ankle, you do get 360 degrees of turn. The foot is on a hinge, so it can go up. It can go down. It can rock around 360 degrees, which is a lot of good motion there. And he does have toe articulation, so that is really good. He's going to need all that articulation when Bane breaks him. Ah! But let's not get there yet. All right, moving on. And for accessories, Batman comes with an alternate pair of hands, and these are open weapon holding hands. And like I was saying in the articulation segment, if you bring Batman out, and instead of having a peg that goes into the wrist right here, basically this new design, you just bring the fist off, and then you have the ball peg here, which is really neat, and you could just throw your alternate hand on there, and you have a lot of crazy articulation with just that. So I think that is really cool. And of course he's going to need something to put in the alternate hand, and that is going to be this Batarang. And it's really nice for a Batarang. It's just a single piece. It's molded in blue plastic, and it has your little blades here at the end, and he could hold this really well, and he could kind of throw it. So yeah, pretty neat. A definite accessory for the Batman. Alright, moving on. And for figure accessories, he comes with a stand, which is nice. Your standard DC stand. It's round, it's black, has a peg hole, and it has DC. Moving on. And finally, he comes with a collector's card of the cover of Batman 492, Part 1 of Knightfall. And you can see Batman in there jumping after the Mad Hatter. And on the back, you do get a good read-up of the Batman. We'll come in real close and see that, so you may pause the video, read that to your heart's content. But we must be moving on. And that is going to be Batman's accessories. And for comparison, here you have him with Superman, making it the world's finest. Here you have him with some of the other Justice League members, Flash and Green Lantern. Flash looking a little angry. He probably realized that people only came to see his movie to see Batman. And here you have him with some other famous versions of Batman. The Frank Miller Dark Knight Returns Batman, the Alex Ross Justice Batman, the Michael Keaton Flash Batman, and of course, Batman the Animated Series Batman. And these are all good and great Batman in their own right. But is this the best and definitive Batman for Knightfall? Let's take a look at his competition. And here are my Knightfall Batmans, kind of. So we know we're talking about the McFarlane Knightfall Batman here, but over here to the left is the DC Essentials Knightfall Batman, and over to the right in package I have the History of the DC Universe Batman. And these are all very fine candidates for what I think a Knightfall Batman should be. He's got the classic blue and gray outfit with the yellow capsule belt. So I believe it's going to be really hard to say which is the definitive Knightfall Batman, because I think each of them do something a little differently, and you could be happy with any of them in your collection. Now, starting off, the DC Essential Batman here was a very fine figure. I love how he looks. I love the dark grays. I love the tempographed bat symbol here, but he is an outdated figure. I think the new Knightfall Batman is a better sculpt and mold, but I don't like the colors as much as I do on the Essentials, because I think the grays here are too light. Now, you can argue that they put out the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive one, who had a lot more shading on it, and maybe, yeah, that would be the better one, but I don't have it to compare. And then you have the History of the DC Universe Batman here, which I think is pretty good. He has the right colors. I'm not sure about his articulation, but judging it from the box, he does have a lot of cuts that would give him some nice articulation from what I can see. I really wish I had a second one of these, but I had to get this out of the museum just to compare it. And I don't know if it's a fair comparison or not, but still, I think these are the three best I have. And I hate to say it, but I think the DC Essential Knightfall Batman still wins over the McFarlane Knightfall Batman. And again, that's just my opinion. It's relative. I've had this one forever. I don't know. And again, it's my own personal comparison and opinion. If you like this McFarlane Knightfall Batman and you think he's the best, then he's the best for you. Alright, moving on. And this has been the DC Multiverse Knightfall Batman. And this is a figure that a lot of people have been waiting for ever since McFarlane took over the DC Multiverse line. Because if there's one thing that McFarlane knows, it's Batman and how to do a very, very good Batman. But is this the definitive Knightfall Batman? I may not agree with that. Like I said in my comparison, I think the colors are a little light for this one. And even with the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, I still think darker gray was the way to go with this figure if you're trying to get the whole Knightfall vibe with it. But it's a very beautiful looking Batman. I'm very happy to have it in my collection. I love the sculpt, I love the mold, the colors are great. It doesn't come with a lot of accessories. The alternate hands are okay because you need something to hold the Batarang, which is okay. I think I would have preferred the Batarang to be black, but you could easily paint that, so no big deal there. The figure stand and the card, those are just throwaways, but I think he looks great. I really think this figure is going to be a knockout. So if you find this on the shelves, which he should be out right now for $25 to $30, depending on where you find him, I highly recommend you picking him up and adding him to your collection, because at the end of the day, this is a beautiful looking Batman. Now, there is always the possibility that Todd McFarlane will throw us another curveball, because when it comes to this great storyline, Knightfall wasn't the only awesome DC storyline that was coming out in the 90s. They also had the death of Superman, and with that, McFarlane gave us this monstrosity of a 2-pack, and this is beautiful. And yes, we will be reviewing this, but it's going to be down the road a little bit. But what I am suggesting is that maybe we could get a 2-pack featuring the breaking of the Batman, and I think that would just be so awesome. So Todd McFarlane, if you're listening, 2-pack Bane Batman, better colors, it's a no-brainer, and it would be awesome to have. Alright guys, that is the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and until next time, keep playing.